death of the V6, enhanced infotainment, killer styling, return of the wagon. I've scoured the interwebs to paint the best picture of the 2024 redesigned best-selling sedan, the legendary Toyota Camry. Welcome back to the channel. If you are excited for the new Toyota Camry that is going to be at our doorstep very, very soon, make sure to smash the heck out of that like button. We're going to go over 5 general topics today on the new Camry. It's going to be talking about the exterior, the interior, powertrains, my personal favorite, the win of the vehicle, like reveal and availability, and also pricing. So let's get into it. Motor Trend has the latest renders. Now what we're seeing here is a mix of AI generation with some human interaction as well. This vehicle is not going to look anything like this. And in fact, they took the Camry's design and they mixed it with the new Prius as well as the GR86. And that's why you see a lot of 8.6 in these rear taillights. The vehicle looks amazing, but it's not going to look like this whatsoever. And this render right here is far more likely to happen. I'm not saying it will, but it is more accurate with Toyota's styling. Let me explain. So Toyota has a new styling coming out, and it's called the next generation hammerhead design. We see it on a couple of vehicles. We have the new Toyota Crown. Now this is the Crown Sport, which could be a battery electric vehicle. It is not confirmed for America, I don't believe, but this is where the renders mixed with the Camry that I just showed are coming from. And this car looks great. I hope it comes here. And the rear end looks far more appropriate on a vehicle with these sort of dimensions than it did on the Camry sedan. This vehicle doesn't really share that lobster claw headlight design that I just showed with that hammerhead design on the new Crown Sport, for example. This is the Crown Sedan, and I don't think we'll get this in America. This is supposed to be rear-wheel drive, so the proportions aren't going to be the same with this really long hood, nor with this really long wheelbase. But if Toyota is somehow able to shrink this fastback design into a front-wheel drive-based package in the new Camry, they're in for an absolute home run. Now, the rear taillights here look far more appropriate, and we could see more of a light bar design on the new Camry like we see on this Crown sedan. It's just a stunning vehicle, and I could stare at this vehicle all day. I wish it would come to America as the reincarnation of the Lexus GS. I just don't think it's coming. On the far left, we do have the new hammerhead design on this Crown, which I don't think I've talked to one person in person that actually really enjoys the Crown design that we have in America. These other 3 Crown designs are far more attractive. But let's not get off topic. What about the new Prius? New Prius is sporting a new hammerhead design as well, and it is sleek. Could we see these lobster claws on the front of the vehicle make its way to the Camry? I think there's a great chance. I'm not saying it's a lock, but given where Toyota styling is on their sedans and what they've been teasing, I think it would make sense if they gave us a lobster claws on the front and a light bar on the back. Here we go with the exterior design again. If this came to production like this, I think Toyota would absolutely steal a lot of market share away from the new Honda Accord that just looks so generic at this point. Now, there's one other example of the new lobster claw design here and a new grille. This is footage that I took of the new BZ3X is what I'm calling it. It's called the BZ Compact SUV. It's a fully battery electric, but you can just see where the lobster claw headlights are going with a light bar in the middle and then a more prominent design with these jewel headlights down below. I think it's a little clunky. I don't think it looks bad. I actually like the Prius design a little bit better than what we see here, but there are some really nice details on this BZ Compact crossover. And if the Camry had these sort of lights and sort of front grille, I think it would do great. Would you guys like to see these futuristic lobster claws on the Camry? Definitely let me know. Oh man. So we're working with the interior of the current Camry, and it is a bit clunky. There's all sorts of lines going everywhere. It's messy. It looks outdated with this pop-up. Well, it's not a pop-up screen, but it's just kind of tacked on here. At least we still have the knob for volume and tuning. I do appreciate the shifter, but I think this shifter, the traditional shifter, is gone. What we have actually right back here could be on the base Camry with the 7-inch MID in the middle. And then on the upper trims, we could see an upgraded fully digital 12-inch screen like we see on the new RAV4, for example, the new Highlander. Now we're looking at the interior of the Crown. I think this is a good template to start, as well as we'll break down the interior of the Prius, and they could go two different ways here. So this is the more traditional layout with a large MID right behind the steering wheel, underneath the dash, or should I say the top of the dash. And then we also have the 12-inch screen here as well. Will we see a base 12-inch screen? No, I think the base screen will probably be like 9 inches, 10 inches, somewhere in there. I like the centrally located volume knob here on the Crown, unlike the Prius. And like I said, the shifter is going to be gone because of the powertrains should be hybridized only. And we have USB-Cs, wireless charger. I like the minimal climate control. I am going to miss the rotary dial, but we still have physical buttons here and switches for fan control and temperature control, as well as heated and ventilated seats. Overall, the interior is much cleaner here. It's much more cohesive and much more modern. Now, looking at the Prius interior, it looks very similar to the Crown. I feel like this is a good indicator of their new vehicles and where they're going forward. Just like the Crown, we have a tiny shifter, 12-inch screen here. I don't like on the Prius that the volume knob is completely opposite of the driver. Like, this is unusable unless you're the passenger. It's really frustrating. So I'd love to see a centrally located knob just like on the Crown. Here's the climate control. It's very similar than what we just saw on the new Crown, but I don't think they're going to go with this sort of MID setup where you're looking over the steering wheel. I think this 12-inch screen that we see on the Crown and other Toyota products is going to be a shoe-in for the top grades of the new Camry. Panel roof is definitely going to make its way in there, of course. We'll have USB-Cs in the back. Seats should be able to fold down. If you guys need to use your potty break, go ahead and do that. Also bring back your snacks and drinks because we're just getting started. We're getting into the powertrains now. My favorite thing to talk about, where I just get giddy like a kid at Christmas or his birthday. Let's go. Things are changing massively in the car industry, going far more electric, and this spells doom and gloom for the naturally aspirated base engine, as well as the optional engine on the current Camry. Rest in peace, V6. Your days of silky smooth propulsion, as well as revvable peaky power, those days are gone. I think the V6, rest in peace. We're going to miss it. And it's just a sad situation what's going on in the industry due to emissions, regulations, etc. Now, the Camry base is also going to lose its very affordable, simplistic 2.5-liter 4-cylinder engine, 203 horsepower and 184 pound-feet of torque. Now, that was previously the only way you could get all-wheel drive on the Camry. Fortunately, we never saw, let's say, the all-wheel drive 8-speed auto V6 setup in the Camry that we see in the Highlander. But yes, rest in peace, 300 horsepower Camry. I don't know when we'll see 300 horsepower again. Arguably the best Camry, though, getting the best of both worlds. Good acceleration as well as crazy efficiency. Here is the Camry Hybrid in its current form. It has a 118 horsepower electric motor up front and mixed with the 2.5-liter naturally aspirated A25A. We get 208 horsepower combined and an estimated 231 pound-feet of torque with just a simple and small 1 kilowatt-hour battery. Miles per gallon starts at 46 for the upper grades, but the base grades get up to 52 miles per gallon. And I think this Camry Hybrid with the 4th gen system could very well be dead as we move to the next generation. And just take this with a grain of salt because these are my estimations, the things I've been reading and hearing. So take all this with a grain of salt, but yes, the 3 powertrains that they currently have, they're either gone or modified. And enter in the 2024 Camry Hybrid as the only powertrain option that I'm aware of, or I am expecting, I should say, in the new next generation Camry. We take the 2.5-liter A25A that we have on the previous gen, and it should be exactly the same, just porting it over, same ECVT transmission, the 2-motor hybrid systems that we see in pretty much every Toyota hybrid that ever existed. It will have front-wheel drive and finally all-wheel drive. Toyota is going to give it the Corolla hybrid treatment and the Prius hybrid treatment and all the crossover minivan hybrid treatments, giving it an optional electric motor in the back. It's finally coming to the Camry. It's great to see. Now, we should also expect this hybrid system to get a bump in technology to a 5th gen hybrid. Now, I don't believe there are any 2.5-liter 5th gen hybrids on the market. all the 5th gen hybrids that have been revealed so far, either in Japan or in North America and across the world, they've all been on the 2-liter instead of the 2.5-liter. So it's really hard to say what kind of gains we'll see in terms of efficiency and power, but I'll take a stab at it. So in order to get an estimated guess of the power jump from 4th gen to 5th gen, we need to look at what we currently have. If we look at what's on the Lexus UX right now, it has 181 horsepower on its 4th gen system. This new system can go up to 196 horsepower like we see in the all-wheel drive Prius. 196 divided by 181 is about an 8% gain. So if we add 8% to the 208 here, should give us an extra 16-17 horsepower and get us to 225. So I think this is going to be the base powertrain number for the new Camry hybrid across all grades. Fingers crossed for 225 horsepower. It's a little bit more than what we have on even the RAV4 hybrid at 219. Now, we know this system can actually scale higher. The Sienna hybrid has 245 horsepower. So best case scenario, it would be around 250 horsepower, but this is Toyota. I think 225 is probably where it's going to be, or very close to. And when we're talking about hybrids, fuel economy is super important here. Are we going to see an improvement of the 46 to 52 miles per gallon that we have on the current Camry hybrid? And I don't think the gains will actually come from the powertrain jump. I think the powertrain jump is mainly about getting that extra horsepower, that extra response, and we will see that, I believe. But I don't think the gains will actually be due to increased efficiency necessarily from the powertrain. If you look at the Corolla from the 4th to 5th gen, it got more power, but actually went down in efficiency. If you look at the Prius, it stayed about the same, even though it got more power with a bigger engine. So it's really tough to say, but I think the gains here are not going to be due to the powertrain efficiency jump mainly. It'll be due to aerodynamic redesign. But with active shutters and a more slippery design and a lower coefficient of drag, we could see efficiency gains here. I think 46 is minimum, but I think we could actually see up to 55 miles per gallon here. I don't think it'll beat the Prius LEs like 57 miles per gallon, but the crazy thing is it's virtually identical for getting mid 50s. Do you think that the new Camry will be able to crack 55 miles per gallon? Fingers crossed. Some of the rumors are suggesting different outputs for this hybrid system. I just don't see it happening. Are we going to see all-wheel drive standard like we see on the RAV4 hybrid? I don't think so. This is a sedan. I think they'll give you the option of all-wheel drive just like they do on the Prius as well as the Corolla. Will all-wheel drive give us a powered bump? And that is a possibility, because if we look at the Prius front-wheel drive, that's 194 horsepower versus 196 horsepower. It's virtually identical. So it could be a very small power bump for the all-wheel drive Camry hybrid. Could we see a Camry Prime with over 300 horsepower, 50 miles of EV range? I think we could. Not at launch. Maybe 3, 4, 5 years from now, we could see a Camry Prime. It's extremely unlikely, and here's why. Because it would have to be made in Japan. There's nowhere in America where they make the 18.1 kilowatt hour battery. So they would have to bring it over from Japan and put it in the Camry, which they can and will do, but probably for Lexus products, not for Toyota products. Could they make it in Japan and bring the Camry Prime over here? Yes, but I just don't ever see that happening. So what would I like to see from the Camry as an optional powertrain? Well, I don't think we're going to get it. I think, honestly, I think this is the only powertrain we're going to see at launch. Could they add more in the future? Absolutely. But I honestly think this is the only powertrain that we're going to see. But what I would like to see is the addition of the Hybrid Max powertrain that we see on the Crown that gives us, well, even the new Grand Highlander, 340 to 362 horsepower and 400 pound-feet of torque. We could get pretty good fuel economy on this, around 30. Not great, but still impressive for the amount of horsepower it would give you. 0 to 60 on this would probably be in the low 5s would be my guess. And it ditches the traditional hybrid system that gives you 2 motors up front for a single, more powerful motor, but it allows you to put a real transmission there, and that's how we get a 6-speed auto in this. But could we see it on a GR or TRD or XSE Camry? Absolutely. I just don't think it's going to happen at launch anyways. We know Toyota has this powertrain, so it's always in the bag. And just like the Prime, it's in the bag for possibilities, but likelihood is extremely low. We talked about the exterior and interior expectations, the powertrain expectations. Now we need to get into when is the reveal. And I think we need actually to talk about when availability is and kind of work our way backwards. Let's look at the current generation Camry. Well, production started in June of 2017 and availability was later that year, and model year was 2018. So I think 2023, obviously it's happening this year. I think production will start at the end of summer, maybe early fall, and availability by the end of 2023. It's way too hard to put down a specific month or date, but I think by the end of 2023, we will have 2024 Camrys out there. At least that's what I'm expecting. Things could always get bumped back with supply chain disruptions or other unseen issues in the global system. But I think end of 2023 is when you'll start see them in the dealerships, fingers crossed. Every single vehicle actually gets revealed before availability. Look at the most recent reveal from Toyota, the Grand Highlander. That was on February 8th. And I'm guessing by the mid to end of the summer, we'll start seeing those in the hands of customers. So if we work our way back maybe 6 months from December, maybe we'll see a reveal in June or May, June, July. So summertime, early summer, I think we'll get a reveal of the new Camry. And you bet I'll bring you the reveal of the Camry either digitally or with my hands on the vehicle. I cannot wait for the new Camry. And let's talk about pricing. With the base gasoline engines gone, we could see the base price of the Camry jump about $2,000. Now, there's some hope here that the base price could actually stay the same or go less. If we look at the Corolla hybrid, that actually got cheaper from the 2022 to the 2023 refresh. Not sure how or why. Maybe it's because it's built in Japan and conversion rates are able to make it that way. I think starting price for the LE hybrid around $28K is probably where it's going to stay. So let's just go to the hybrid trim levels here, and things probably will change. So we'll have the LE SE continue its roles. We'll have the XLE and XSE continue its roles. And then I could see a potential top end grade here. Maybe they call it platinum or limited. They can actually do a limited and a platinum if they wanted to. But with the Crown on the market, there might be reasons to stay away from a limited and platinum grade to protect the sales of the Crown as well. I think all these trims are a lock. I'd love to see the Nightshade continue over. I think this is the most attractive buy here for the 2023 Camry anyways. So I'd love to see the Nightshade continue over with some really cool edgy styling. So I think the starting price around $28K makes a lot of sense for the Camry hybrid, and that will undercut the Accord hybrid by a few $1,000s there. But how expensive could the new Camry get? Well, let's start with an XLE hybrid. Let's get it in supersonic red. Let's get a nice light macadamia interior here. Let's add the most expensive package and actually force me to change my color here. Let's just finish it out. So still under about $40,000, and that's kind of where the Honda Accord hybrid tops out as well with all the bells and whistles on it. Upper 20s to about $40,000 will be the range of the new Camry hybrid unless we get some unknown powertrain that boosts it into the next price tier. But that sums up everything I am expecting for the 2024 Camry. I didn't mention one thing, and that was the wagon. That's just my wishful thinking. I'd love to see a wagon Corolla or a wagon Camry come back to the market, largely because I know the touring sports Corolla exists in other markets. And I saw an awesome dark green A4 all-road yesterday, and I'm like, man, I'd love to see more wagons on the market. So what do you agree with or disagree with my expectations on the new Camry down below? What do you want to see on the new Camry? Are you sad about the departure of the V6 and your lack of options with the powertrains? More than likely. And if the vehicle looks like this render or even the Crown rear-wheel drive sedan, I think Toyota is going to be killing it with the new Camry. But I got to cut it off somewhere, and this is it. Have a great day. Thank you guys. And I cannot wait to bring in the new Camry with you when it gets revealed. Thanks so much.